Hi, this is AJ, a founder of Radius. Radius is building a shared sequencing layer. Sequencing layers is kind of a new infrastructure in modular blockchain space to help developers develop their own ZK validated rollup and also operate them efficiently. So there are some challenging parts in building a sequencing layer. So Radius' approach is that to apply a cryptography like encryption or ZKP as much as possible. So the challenging part in developing ZK validated rollups is kind of to run sequencer nodes by themselves. Sequencer is kind of like a validator for Ethereum. So the thing that sequencer does is that receive transactions from user and aggregate them to build a block, and then execute them, and then post a result and state to layer 1. There are two ways to decentralize sequences. We need to decentralize sequences somehow, so there are two ways. One is that to have multiple nodes operating the same execution thing. It's a monolithic approach, but we'd rather take a modular approach that we just specialize the features like builders to build a block, proposer to execute the block, and the prover also generating ZK proof for this state transition in rollups. So, but there are some challenging parts, which is the pre-confirmation. Rollup is all about the scalability solution. So pre-confirmation is really important, like to make user experience better. But to apply this modular approach in sequencing for rollups, there should be some unwanted additional latency for pre-confirmation. That pre-confirmation is to say that your transactions will be included in next block or something. So with this modular approach, the time when you get pre-confirmation from the system is that probably after proposer or build a block, after proposer or confirm a block. So it's kind of additional latency happening in this approach. So in Radius approach, that's where encrypted mempool and order commitment comes in. With the encrypted mempool, especially end user encrypt their transactions, so builders cannot see the contents of the transactions. So builders should respond to user with some kind of order commitment saying that your transactions will be included in a specific order of next block. Since builders cannot see the contents of the transactions, it cannot manipulate the order. So that's why builder can respond with this order commitment thing to users, which means that it's fast pre-confirmation. Not waiting for proposer to build a block. At builder side, you can respond to this pre-confirmation thing. Since we applied the encrypted mempool thing, another advantage that we can get is censorship and MEV resistant thing. Actually, Radius project came from this MEV resistant AMM stuff, and then we found out that there are some really challenging part in rollup space, especially sequencing part. So we could apply this encrypted mempool approach to this to make better this sequencing part. So as I said before, builder cannot see the contents, so we cannot do any malicious bad MEV extraction happening in builder side, like front running or sandwich attack. So builder we'll go deep into this. So in this modular approach, builder and prover is kind of a commodity. So we can consider both a builder and proposer as a sequencer. So I will explain with this concept. So let's go deep into this. So encryption part, we applied a delay, a time lock puzzle encryption thing, which means that the solution to time lock puzzle will be decryption key, which means when an end user encrypts their transactions with this with time lock puzzle encryption, a sequencer needs to find this decryption key by solving time lock puzzle. That's where delay comes in. So during this delay, sequencer needs to respond to user with this order commitment thing. So that's where MEV resistance comes in as well. So, and then end user can get guarantee from sequencer about the order with this order commitment. This order commitment is signed by sequencers, so end user can make sure that his transaction will be included in the next block. So what if sequencer, like a malicious sequencer, can like lie about this order commitment thing? We can protect this edge case as well, because a sequencer needs to publish the results of the next block to layer 1. So smart contract in layer 1 is going to store a transaction hash list. So when end user find out this order commitment from the sequencer is broken, he can claim to layer 1. So smart contract in layer 1 verify the claim with the order commitment. So it works trustlessly. So when order commitment is broken, sequencer is going to be slashed. So that's how this order commitment, we can force sequencer to keep this order commitment as well. So with this encrypted mempool and order validation thing can protect you from malicious sequencers. So you can, your money will be safe. But another problem happening is going to happen on sequencer side, not end user side. So that's why ZK comes in. So let's say that there is some malicious end user sending invalid encrypted transactions to sequencer. Sequencer cannot distinguish that this encrypted transaction is valid or not because it's encrypted. So, so sequencer is going to waste their own computing resources to solve this time lock puzzle, and also it's going to waste on block space because it's invalid transactions like rubbish or something. So this wasting thing would lead network instability in network. So it's a really big problem. So we could solve this problem with the ZK. Obviously, and when end user creates encrypted transactions, they also need to generate ZK proof to prove that this whole encryption process is done correctly. So with this ZK proof, a sequencer can be guaranteed that this encrypted transactions is valid. So sequencer needs to verify this ZK proof, and then this verification is true. Now it's time to solve the time lock puzzle to find the decryption key. So in this way, end user needs to generate this ZK proof, but time lock puzzle encryption thing is really computation heavy, which means that time lock puzzle is based on RSA group squaring thing. So it's a sequential this computation. So that's many times of sequential computation is needed to generate like 1 or 2 seconds on general MacBook. So if you want to turn into this process into ZK circuit only, it's really not going to work. So the core achievement of Radius is that we made it practical. So we call it a practical verifiable delay encryption, which that we not only use ZK SNARK or ZK Stack stuff, we also combine ZK SNARK with Sigma protocol. So we can make sure that this generation ZK proof stuff on client side only takes one time. And regardless delay which is needed for sequencer side. So it's about less than 1 second on your browser. So another one is that we need that right now we only prove that this ZK prove that this encryption process is done correctly. It's not guaranteed this transactions integrity. So right now we are researching on this, like to prove this encrypted transactions is integrity. So like including signature and nonce and to prove that this sender has enough money to pay a gas fee. So we'd like to encrypt the whole transactions. Also, another approach that we are researching is that like a stateless approach. So to make this ZKP generation, it's like lightweight. So, or we could use some kind of ZK acceleration on this, because this time to generate ZK proof on client side is really important for a better user experience. So another problem, another challenging part in sequencing layer is that interoperability. People usually criticize this roll-up-centric approach because it's going to be fragmentation happening between these roll-ups. So we need to make sure that communication between this roll-up is kind of easy. So there are many projects, but I think the sequencing layer is well positioned to solve this problem because sequencer has a full control of building a block for roll-ups. Usually they build a block and then deliver a block to roll-up. And then even though sequencer has a full control, Radius has an encrypted mempool, so there's nothing sequencer can do, like manipulate the order of the transitions. So we can make sure that even though full control is on sequencer side. Anyway, interoperability, for example, flash loans have multiple transitions that should be executed in multiple rollups. So one thing that sequencing layer can do is that it can guarantee atomic inclusion, which means that sequencing layer can build a block, and then at that time, it can include these transitions in flash loans transitions in multiple rollups. So we can guarantee atomic inclusion as well. But the problem is that atomic inclusion is not enough to guarantee this interoperability between rollups. We need some kind of atomic executions, because even though the transitions included in a block, we cannot guarantee that it's going to be executed or reverted or something. So we need to prepare for this situation. So at that time, I think all the commitment, all the validation thing can guarantee this atomic execution thing happening between multiple rollups. But it's kind of difficult, but we are still researching for better solution for that. And then just in case this atomic execution is broken, we have to roll back to the previous state. But as long as this sequencer layer has keep tracking these all states and all flash loan transitions or cross rollup transitions in sequencer layer, we can exactly point out that where these multiple rollups should roll back. So that's another efficiency that we can get from this sequencing layer architecture. So we all know that many rollups will come, especially a tsunami of ZK rollup part, because rollup is going to provide scalability, flexibility for your project. So we'd like to make sure that this movement keep going, and to support these millions of ZK validated rollup, we think that our approach with this modular approach and sequencer layer is really needed for this space. Okay, thank you for listening. Thanks.